Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday, July 24th, 2015, and you're listening to the Super Organizer Universe Radio Show. I'm James Law Jr., the Super Organizer. Yes, the Super Organizer. And good morning and welcome. I'm having a problem with my cord right now. I'm trying to make it sit out the way. And I am trying to wake up a little bit. I had a late night last night with my other gig at AfterBuzz TV. I filled in for a show called, for an after show for the show, say that 5 times fast, Under the Dome, that's on CBS. I like the show a lot, and I got to work with a wonderful woman, Miss Jackie B, so I just want to give her a little shout out. But the turnaround time, a little harder when you get older. Not easy to kind of turn around, and even for somebody like me who's very perky most of the time, it still takes a little while. And I don't drink coffee anymore, so I'm waking up naturally. So I want to say good morning, of course, to my partner in crime and all things organizing and engineering, Brian.
You know, I have a bone to pick with you.
Ooh, please do it.
You posted a couple weeks ago, and I completely forgot. I was reminded of it today
Okay.
about getting rid of shirts.
Oh, yes.
And I lost my mind because I have shirts that I don't fit in, and
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever fit in again.
Yeah.
But I can't get rid of them. I have it looks like if you've ever gone into a music store and you see all those shirts lined up, that's exactly what my closet looks like.
You're not the only person. When that actual post was kind of polarizing for me, for people who follow me, and a lot of my male friends, and I'm going to include you in that, Brian. We're talking about their music T-shirts from well, not you, but others from the 80s.
They're music T-shirts.
Yeah, I was saying, but they some of them are from the 80s, of course, and I sentimental. I get it. That Red Hot Chili Peppers concert I went to in '84. I have that T-shirt. I will never fit it ever again. I will never be 110 pounds ever again. But it's hard. It's hard to get rid of it. People, especially a lot of men, it's those T-shirts. It is.
And they're all music tees. They're never an ironic movie television or a movie TV quote. It's always that band shirt.
Yeah, of course.
Because bands they'll put out a certain design and then never put it out again.
Exactly.
This shirt that I'm wearing.
Yeah, I
this
see a
one was
ceremony.
limited time run.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's completely gone now.
Well, I'm sure.
And I know that's idiotic. And there's shirts in there that I don't fit in anymore. I try them on sometimes just to make myself feel a little better, but then I'm wearing like a crop top, and it's like, no, that's not.
Not cute.
No, I'm not gonna go out like that today. At least not today.
But it's funny you bring that up. That was a lot of males came back to me. Were like, no, James, can't do it. No. So I'm like, to read my other blog about how to fold things easier.
Girls do definitely have an easier time getting rid of clothes because they're not as attached to it.
But we like our shirts. We like our sweats. We like our sweatshirts.
I'll wear pants even if they have holes in them.
Oh, I get in trouble all the time. I do the same thing.
Oh, guys are dumb.
Yeah, I do the same thing too. And I'm an organizer. But I did organize myself after that post, and I got rid of 6 bags of clothes. So
that's
there,
because I could never do that.
Don't say never; just can't do it right now. Maybe one day.
Right. You're right. If I've learned anything from listening to this program, is never is not a word that should be in our vocabulary.
Shouldn't, because maybe one day you'll wake up and go, "Okay, that's it. I'm done."
Yeah.
Get rid of stuff.
Well, good morning to you too.
Good morning. Thank you. I like that. I do. I love that. See, folks, I'm changing lives even in my engineering studio. So there you go. And so as always, I do a thanks and gratitude every morning when I come on here, because I always believe that living in gratitude is very important and giving thanks is very nice. And this is going to be my San Francisco edition because I just came from San Francisco. Some of you listened to my last show. I had to bury a friend. Miss Laurel May Bond, had to say goodbye to her. And I went up there to actually officiate her ceremony. And it was a really beautiful day in Bernal Heights, part of San Francisco. It was like the gods opened up the sky. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. And it was a great time. And I was very honored and humbled to do that. But I stayed for the weekend and saw friends and family and had a good time. So this is my San Francisco edition of Thanks and Gratitude. First, I want to give thanks and gratitude to one of my favorite couples in the whole entire world, Dave and Sarah Richardson. I call Dave British Dave because he's British, of course, and they're one of the best couples that I know. They are super supportive. They're very genuine, which is many people out there know. It's hard to find people who actually are genuine and who are really happy for whatever it is you're doing. And openly tell you how supportive they are and show support in many ways. And also, they always, I know that if I need them for anything, I can give them a call. And, sometimes that really is just, even if you never do it, it's good to have that comfort of knowing that you have people in your life that you can go to for anything. It could be something small, big. Just I know that if I need to make a phone call to either of them or a text or something, I know both if they can help or could be there, they will be there. And so I just love them so much, Dave and Sarah, and they were there this weekend. One of my best friends in the world, who I've known for 16 years, who is one of the sanest people that I know, Mr. Christopher Diem. He is hilarious, and we laugh all the time, very self-deprecating. He loves pop culture. He's also my football buddy. We are NFL freaks, and he goes so far to do the fantasy football and all that. But on Sundays, we will call each other and talk about games and just yuck and have such a great time. And he is just one of the best people I know also. And laughter, that's something that is key in life. And as many of you know from watching me on TV or here on the radio or know me in person, I like to laugh. And I laugh a lot. That's with 2 T's. And I laugh loud. So I just want to tell him that I love him also, and thanks for all his also support and just everything. I also want to give a shout out to Don Ramon's, one of the best Mexican restaurants in San Francisco. I've been going there for a grillion years, and Lucy and the staff there, they treat me like royalty no matter how long I have been there or not. And I haven't been there in a while, and they always just take care of it. And the food is so good. It's very consistent. It doesn't matter when you go. I mean, like I said, I've been going for years. Every meal I've had has been good. It's always good. And it's there. It's in the South Market area. So if you go there, tell them James Lott Jr. sent you. They are good, and they'll treat you like royalty also. You won't be sorry. And I just want to give a thanks and gratitude to San Francisco itself. Yes, I bolted out of there. I had to leave. After 16 years of that weather, I was like, get me out of here. I got to go. But I was there, like I said, 16 years. I was 24, and I left when I was almost 40. So I hope I did my math correct. And I really grew up there. I really became an adult. I mean, I lived other places, but I really had a really good time there. I had a lot of memories that I can look back on and just kind of smile. I had a lot of jobs that I can look back on and kind of frown. No, and smile too. Every job's led to this, of course. I lived in places. I lived in this one apartment. It was so small. It had no kitchen. They had an area. It was a kitchenette. That's what they called it. So what it was 3 tiles on the floor, 2 cabinets, and a sink. So for 3 years, I used a hot plate. I had a microwave, and I made that work. That's right. That's what you do in San Francisco. And then I've also lived in places that were huge. I lived in a 3-bedroom condo where I had my own bathroom and a rooftop deck. So I ran the gamut when I lived in San Francisco, and I really do live in gratitude that I was able to survive there, gain tons of experiences. I mean, like most of everything that I've gone through there has led to what I'm doing today. And it's just, when I go back there to visit, it's changed so much. But it also, I feel good. I'm like, yeah, I did this. I lived here. This is a home for me. This was a home for me. And I just am grateful. I'll always be forever grateful to San Francisco. So those are my thanks and gratitude. And actually, I'm going to read something on the air to Brian. And see, this is out there. My daughter Tammy says, so not true. Tell Brian women have clothing items they can't part with either. And she's like, I love my concert shirts too. I have a t-shirt I bought in Greenwich Village 23 years ago that I sleep in sometimes. And don't get me on the shoe sentimentality.
Oh, no, I'm the same on the shoes. I have a pair of Nikes that are just torn apart. And I will not throw them away because I think of all the people that I've met in them and all the concerts that I've
Yeah.
Danced around in and circle pitted, because I'm that kind of kid.
Yes.
I'm a punk rock kid. So
Oh yeah.
So I can't. They're just sitting in the middle of my room, and I can't get rid of them. I'll post a photo of them on Facebook.
Oh yeah, please do that. The shoe thing, I forgot women in shoes. That is one thing too.
I'm the same.
Yeah. Oh no, me too. I love
Exactly
shoes.
the same.
I got rid of 7 pairs the other day.
I can't do that.
Well, mine actually, literally, there's no soles on them anymore.
Yeah.
I had to get rid of. I walk out of shoes. My mother laughs at me. I walk out of shoes. I will wear them to time of death, like now. Exactly. So had to read that. That was kind of funny. Thanks, Tammy.
Shout out to Tammy.
Shout out to Tammy. That's my girl. All right, she loves her daddy. Okay, so we're going to talk about actually kids, talk about time management, kids, teenagers. It's time management for people under 18 is a little different than grown folks. The mentality is different. Their outlook is different. So your approach needs to be different. And so I'm going to start with what I call the one truth about time management. You can't do everything. There are not enough hours in a day or days in the week or weeks in the month. You know, I like that statement because really what I'm saying is that it's actually a positive message. It's really freeing and liberating. You can't do everything. But what you can do is you can prioritize and organize and get most of it done. Get a lot of it done. You can get stuff done and not stress out. I think that's what's the bigger picture. What I'm really saying is that you'll never be able to organize everything and to get to everything, and that's okay. Time management forces you to prioritize what is important to do. Time management makes you narrow down what you want to do. I always say, work smarter, not harder. You might need to drop a couple of things and get to them later, of course, which is fine. But you don't have to give up all your, desires and things that you want. You might have to defer them to a later date. Again, it's okay. When you set up a good time schedule, you're forced to look at what you're spending time on. So you might have to eliminate a few things to allow for others. You might find things that were important aren't as important anymore when you're doing the listing. Like for me, I get a piece of paper and list it all down. So and you can see what's really important on that list. For example, I wanted to start 2 companies 6 years ago. Once I found how hard it was to set up the one business, the other one, okay, I can wait on that one for a second. So I put it on hold. And I started the first one. And then 6 years later, I was able to come back to it and start the second one. And so now I'm able to devote time to, the newer one because I did good time management. I deferred and I said, I just can't do it right now. It's okay. Time management is just key. Keep that truth in your mind and go forward with what you want to create and figure out that schedule. It's a good one. So now when it comes to kids, I'm going to give a couple little tips here and there too. Because getting up with kids in the morning, especially, that's always the one big thing, right? Especially when you have school age kids, even teenagers or middle school kids, it can be a real chore. Waking up yourself can be trying sometimes, right? There are times when you just don't want to get up. But after you get up, you feel that proverbial that hourglass. It's like it's running out. Oh my God, what's going on? It's running out. There's so much to accomplish before you walk out the door, so you're thinking of all these things you have to do. So there's a couple of tips I give to do so that you don't feel that stress and strain. One thing is, and I've tried some of these actually myself. I did co-raise a little one, so I do know how this goes. One thing is have everyone shower and bath in the evening. That's a very popular one. Have the kids shower, bath at night, because then in the morning you don't have to worry about trying to get them in the shower or bathtub. All you gotta do is basically wet their hair, sometimes just style it, wash their face, of course, brush their teeth. I like taking baths at night, personally, myself. It makes me sleep better at night, and it makes me kind of just relax and slide into bed. I think it's a great idea. For me, give me a glass of wine and a bubble bath, and I'm good to go. Now, of course, don't give the kids that. But I think giving them a bath or a shower at night is one thing that's key to do that. Also, having their clothes out ready the night before, or having them pick out their clothes the night before, and designating an area for them to lay the clothes out. Again, they can get up and just put their clothes on. You don't have to worry about them trying to find their clothes. Where is everything? I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. It's done. It's totally done. And I think it's one thing. It's also a great thing to do in the morning, because those are the 2 biggest things I find. It's usually them getting dressed, getting ready, and getting out the door. Feeding them, there's also tips I've given before, of course, is having the food the night before, kind of planning a little meal night before and things like that. But I always feel like just getting them clean and getting them dressed are 2 major things in the morning. Get them ready the night before. That's kind of good. And then the ultimate goal, of course, is a smooth morning. Your immediate goal is to have your morning run smoother, right? So it gives you some time to yourself, an extra 10 minutes to meditate, or sleep a little longer. And so everybody has, and then it develops a routine. So everybody has a routine in the morning and the night before, which of course is always a great thing. And that's a good time management solution. And of course, as we go through this show, I'm going to do more time management stuff and talk about chores and things with kids, because I think it's very important to teach kids this stuff early, get them started. Kids like structure many times, and you also want to empower them to do things on their own and have cognitive thought. I mean, it's, to have a kid go, okay, go ahead and pick out your outfit tomorrow. That gives them some power and teaches them how to do things for themselves. Teaching kids how to, take a bath the night before and get ready. It shows them to be clean is good. So I think that's something I think it's just very important. Just really good. So that's one tip there for you guys today with time management for kids. And leading into that, we're going to talk to someone who specializes in kind of this mom stuff and everything. And I had her, I'm having her call in, and her name is Debbie Lillard. She's a professional organizer and mother. She's an author. She has several books. She's also appeared on HGTV's Mission Organization. She's a professional organizer from Pennsylvania. She's also a member of NAPO. I mean, this woman does it all. And she's on my show today. Debbie. Hello.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Faint.
Sorry. Did you? Was it? Didn't hear me, or was I too quiet, or?
Yeah, it's funny. Your connection's a little bit more faint than when I
spoke
to Brian.
Does it sound better? Okay, he's gonna come in here and see if it's better. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
That's better.
Much better. She says much better. Okay, yay! Technology's our friends. How are you?
I know. Good, thanks.
I love it. Glad. Well, thanks for coming on to my show, Miss Debbie.
Sure.
And so you are based in Pennsylvania. What part of Pennsylvania are you based in?
Yes, right outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, I have family in Bethlehem. Is that kind of near you?
That's a bit of a drive, but we're in the greater Philadelphia area. So
I like Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's good. It's got like the nice old section, and we're just close enough to the city that we can participate in all the big things that go on there. But we're in the suburbs where I like it's a little more quiet.
And so now, are your kids? What ages are your kids these days? Because I read your book, and your book came out a while back, and I was wondering.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I always say that my books sort of, follow the journey that I had with being. I started off as a stay-at-home mom with 3 little ones. Now they're all teenagers. I've got a 19-year-old, a 16-year-old, and soon to be 13 years old.
Wow, you got every group right there represented.
I know. Many times, during their school, pretty much all throughout school, one's in college, one's in high school, one's in middle school.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about juggling schedules.
Yes, I'm sure. I always say this because I work with a lot of moms. I don't call them stay-at-home moms. I'm like, you guys run the house. You guys are house managers. You're family managers. You guys have a job.
Exactly.
And organization is very important.
Yeah, you really have to have some aspect of organization in your life if you're a mom with kids and running a household, or else it's going to get out of control, or you're going to get stressed out, or something's going to suffer. So.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are the ones who probably can run businesses better than some of us because you have all that experience. I mean, you're dealing with personalities. You're doing, everything.
Yeah, you have to be a psychologist.
Yes,
like
exactly.
You said, a project manager, because if you're doing anything around the house, it's usually the mom, if she's at home even part time, you're the one calling the contractors and scheduling the dates and all that stuff. So one time I was looking for a job outside of doing my professional organizing business, and I actually put that on a resume. I was like, darn, I've been home for 7 years with my kids, and it's not like I've been sitting around watching soap operas. So I made up a job description to show like all the aspects, like you said, project manager, customer service.
Yeah, no, you do seriously.
Person.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. It's actually very smart. You moms out there, take note of that, actually. I mean, that's actually very smart because they're all traits that we look for employees that you actually you're doing it. That's not,
right.
you're
and
not.
A lot of moms I know that if they are stay-at-home, they're not working outside the home, they're the ones that are running the PTOs and, volunteering at school and, involved in their community. So that's something too.
I do. I admire you guys so much. Trust me. I'm like, I work with a bunch of mothers at home and with small children or school-age children or teenage children. I bow down to you guys very much all the time. And especially those of you who actually have other things going, like writing books.
Yeah.
I mean, you write books. I mean,
Right.
I have. Okay, these are two books that I have because folks out there, I want to talk to her about. I have a lot of questions for you. I mean, the books were wonderful. I got the Mom's Guide to Home Organization, which is your compilation of several books, correct?
Yes.
And I also have Absolutely Organized. That's the first one I got. Was Absolutely Organized, and I actually read that one cover to cover.
Oh, great!
I did. I really enjoyed it. I like the design of the book. I mean, of course, I'm organized, so I like the design of the book. It's aesthetically pleasing, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, I was very happy with that too. The publisher did a great job with the layout.
Oh, great! Yeah, great job. And so I have questions kind of stemming from your books, of course. But have you always been a writer?
Yes, I went to college and I majored in communications.
Oh.
And I'm just one of those people that I've kept a journal since I was in third grade. I wrote for my high school newspaper, my college newspaper. So I really, it's just something I like to do. It's the way I express myself. So, I always had in the back of my mind, someday I'd like to write a book. And then, life happens and you have to pay the bills and you get a corporate job and then you have kids and, and this just sort of came together. I never would have thought, I'm going to write an organizing book for moms. Someday I'd still I'm thinking the novel is my next thing, but that'll be in my retirement years. So what happened was I was actually doing a lot of talks at local moms clubs because when I started, as my book describes, I was staying at home with my 3 young children, working part-time, and really involved in local moms clubs. And I felt like I was giving the same tips over and over, and people would be like, how do you get your kids to do this? And wait a minute, you have a schedule for when they sleep and when they eat? And so I thought, I should just write all this down in a book and, set my mind to it one year as my New Year's resolution, and, everything followed.
That's great. We're kindred spirits. I kept journals from 1980 to 2001. So I was a kid. I was 1980 when I was 11. So I was 11 until 2001. I kept journals, and I've always wanted to write that novel also, which I haven't gotten there either. But I'm leaning towards doing an organizing book myself. And when I saw yours, and I see some of the others, there's some great books out there. Yours I would like because it really is catering. The ones that I've read are to moms.
Yeah.
And you kind of spell everything.
You have to find your niche, and I always feel like It came easily to me to write this because I called it a brain dump. It was just what I was living every day. And, there's obviously a need for lots of different types of organizing books out there. You just kind of have to find your niche that you can serve.
Yeah. I like that it's for moms because moms have a lot to do. And so before we dive into some of the questions I have about actually in the book, what is the overall message that you're trying to give to moms out there that read this book?
I think my overall message is it doesn't have to be so hard. I found, like I said, as I was speaking to moms, that they were so stressed out because, like myself, they came from corporate jobs and they were very organized women, and then you're thrown into this life that's so different if you were able to quit your job and stay home and raise your kids when they're small. It just throws you for a loop, and you're like, wait a minute, I used to be an organized person. What happened? Well, now you're dealing with different personalities and different schedules and, different wants and needs. And so that was my message. It's like, you don't have to be the perfect mom, and it doesn't have to be that hard. So I think somewhere in the middle, a little bit of organization, some systems can help you breathe easier and get through your day.
Yes. Now, there's one thing I want to talk about that's kind of not organizing related, but there is time management in there that I really enjoyed. You talk about dates with your children, how to create a one-on-one, and when I first started to read that part, my first thought was, what if you have multiple kids? And then you actually literally answer that in the next sentence. So I kind of laughed, but
yes, I do.
Yeah, you do. You do. You like the next. You like keep on. It's like James, keep reading. There it is. Can you actually just expand on that a little bit about the whole just trying to find time management time with your quality time with your kids?
Yeah, and this is something that, you can't say every Wednesday I'm going to spend the day with Johnny,
Right.
I think it's one of those things, if you're conscious of it, especially, this actually came into my real life situation this weekend because my kids are older and they're active and, I want to still be a part of their lives even though they're very independent. So if you're conscious of it, you can say, okay, so if I've just spent the last week going to, my son Mark's baseball games every single night, and then I have this middle child who wants me to do a little something with him, I've got to divide my time. And when they're little, it can be as simple as, having a babysitter and taking, my daughter to go see a children's play because she's in the theater, and then letting the boys stay home with a babysitter. And I have a girl and 2 boys, for the people that don't know and haven't read my book. And my boys are all sporty. So maybe it's, going to a karate tournament with my youngest or going to a baseball game with my middle child. And I find even just doing, like, things that you have to do, like cleaning, I do regular clean-outs of the toys, of the books, of the kids' clothes. Just sometimes that half hour, that 15 minutes that you're just one-on-one with your child, I think it's precious time because, they're going to grow up fast. And, I always say to them when we're doing these organizing tasks, it's only going to take 15, 20 minutes. Can you give me that? They're like, okay. And then we sit down and we go through their artwork. And,
good. Yeah.
We might talk a little bit, and you get a feel for what the child likes and what they're into and what they treasure and what they don't. So sometimes it's 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a date like, all right, I'm just going to take Susie out and we're going to go see a movie together. And, they remember those things. My daughter, who's 19, she still brings up things that we used to do when she was little. She's like, remember we used to go here? And so they'll remember those times.
That's very true. And you bring up point, kids grow up fast. And my little girl, Monica, I mean, it was like 1 minute she was born and next minute she's 26. It almost seems that way. And when you're in it, sometimes it doesn't seem that when you're in it. You're like, oh my God, I got these kids and what's going on. Then you just kind of wake up and go, wow, they're grown and they're doing other things. And it doesn't involve me.
Yeah. And I certainly remember when they were little thinking, oh, I can't wait till they can dress themselves. I can't wait till, I don't have to fight with them to go to bed and things like that. But it's like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Actually, now I'm going to bed going, when are my kids going to get home? I can't sleep until I know my daughter's home safely.
I understand that one. Let me ask you, on that note, how early do you suggest, if you have an age period or whatever, that you start teaching kids kind of organizing time management things, chores, I guess?
Well, if you see in my book, one of the most controversial chapters of my book is the baby schedule.
Yeah, no, I did see that. Yes, I saw that. That's why I bring it up a little bit.
Yeah, which some people don't agree with, and that's fine because to each his own, and everybody's got a different style. But again, there were a lot of moms that I met that were like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know when I can get a shower. I'm just at the baby's like, I'm feeding the baby all the time. We don't sleep all night." And I thought that kids are kind of trainable in infancy. And, we followed this doctor's schedule that was handed down through my family. And we did have sort of a regular eating and sleeping routine. So you can, you're teaching them just by habit, really, at that point. But I think, I remember as early as 3 or 4, my kids wanted to dress themselves.
Ooh, yeah.
My daughter had a very strong opinion about what she was wearing, what she wasn't wearing. So, you can say, okay, we're going to put all the T-shirts in this drawer, and we'll put all the shorts in this drawer, and you pick one T-shirt and one pair of shorts. So I remember having this rule when they were little, when they would go to preschool or we would go out or something, I'd say, well, it's kind of a pants and T-shirt day, or if it's a shorts and top day, and then let them choose.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing with organizing is it's about making choices.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can teach them to make choices, make decisions with limited choices instead of just saying you can wear whatever you want. And
I was going to ask you that. I was like, they pull out something, pea green and orange. I mean,
yeah, or they're wearing pajamas if you're going to the store.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it.
No, that's fine, I guess, yes.
But if you sort of give them parameters, like, okay, it's cold outside. You want to wear pants and you want to wear a sweatshirt. Yeah. And then let them choose which ones, and it doesn't matter if they match or not. But just giving them little bits of responsibility and little bits of choices. I think you can start that as early as 3 and 4, and then, of course, depending on the child, everybody progresses differently.
Yeah, of course.
And simple things like putting their clean clothes away.
Oh yeah.
Or picking up their toys in the toy room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's extremes where kids are 10 and 11 years old and the mom's still picking up after them. But I say, you can tell them when they're 5, hey, we're going to straighten up the toy room at the end of the day.
Right.
You get all the blocks over here, and I'll put all the dolls over here, and just simple sorting skills.
I agree.
Can be learned, 4 or 5. They do it in preschool nowadays.
Yeah.
They'll sort shapes and colors.
Yeah, we did a thing with just light and dark, and teaching the kids just like, okay, does it look dark to you? Put it in there. Does it look light to you or white to you? Put it in there, and it actually worked.
Yeah,
the kids were getting it. They were totally getting it. They're like, oh, okay, they got it, and they were like 5 or 6.
You have to make it a game.
Yeah,
like I'm sure you've seen many, parenting articles that say like kids can help fold the wash. You can get them to match the socks up, like find 2 socks that match.
Right.
If you start it young and make it fun, then it's not such a horrible task when they get older.
I totally agree. In your book, you have a thing. It's called The Absolutes Organizing, which I loved, and there were 10 things on it. And so the main thing, which I want to start to talk about, is and I love me a good acronym, the CPR method. And CPR is categorize, purge, and rearrange. The rearrange part I really want to talk about because I like that because I've talked about that in my own practice. So categorize, purge, rearrange. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, and I have to give a little credit where credit is due. If you know Julie Morgenstern,
I love her.
The guru of organizing that started this business way back. I loved her acronym SPACE, that's sort of what I used in my own life. But then when I got on Mission Organization, and when I was writing in the book, they were like, "You can't use somebody else's acronym."
Dang it! I'm like, dang it. Okay, yes.
So, but I love that, and that was sort of the beginning of it. So her SPACE stands for sort, purge, assign a home, containerize, and equalize.
Yep,
I just kind of shortened that.
Yes.
But CPR is categorize, purge, rearrange, and it's amazing how many times I go into a new client's home, we start the process of organizing, and they immediately go to rearranging.
Ooh.
They pick something up and they go, oh, well, this is a puzzle. I was thinking we could put puzzles in the closet downstairs. And I was like, whoa, that's the last step.
Right.
They immediately want to put things away.
Oh, I know that. I know that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. And so people think shoving things away or putting things in a drawer or closet is the way to organize, and it's not really the thorough way to organize. So my thing is, oh, no, we're taking everything out.
That's right. I always talk about
everything that's...
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was just going to go ahead. I'll say something after you say it. Go ahead.
So I categorize everything that's in a room, and I start with what you can see, like if it's on the floor, if it's on tops of tabletops, we categorize, and we'll end up with a bunch of piles, sometimes on the bed, sometimes on the floor.
Yes.
Because you want to see how much you have of one category.
Exactly.
And then I think the next step is purging. And some people can purge as they go. Like they pick something up and say, this is broken or this doesn't fit, and we can get rid of it right away, and that's great. But I know some clients need to see, oh, my gosh, like I have 400 pairs of shoes. Maybe I can purge them a little bit. So that's where the purging comes in second. And then you can start to think about, okay, now rearranging is, am I going to put this in a box or a bin, or am I going to put it on a shelf, and all the details that come with that. So that's kind of how the process works. And it works whether I'm doing a desk or if I'm doing a whole garage. I trust the process because it's been working for me for 12 years, and it keeps us on track without getting sidelined with trying to put things in different closets and bins before we're even done.
Well, it's funny. What I was going to say is that people always like, well, my room is tidy, it's neat. I'm like, no, everything's shoved under the bed. Or it's all in the closet where it's like a booby trap. Don't open the closet. Don't open the closet. Don't open it. You do it, you'll be crazy. And it's like, no, let's just like take everything out and, like you said, and look at it. Let's like look at it and then go from there, and you'll be really amazed. I had one client, she was like, I have that many ribbons? I'm like, yes, you do, girl. She's like, if I go and buy ribbons ever again, James, I'm going to call you and you have to come over here and just smack me. I was like, I won't smack you, but what I'll do is I will take those ribbons out of your hand. We started laughing about that. But she's
right.
Go ahead.
And once they see it, it's like you don't have to fight them to let go because logic prevails. And they go, oh, my God. How many offices have you done where they have like 14 staplers?
Oh, my God, yes. Oh, it's always.
Well, I kept buying them because I couldn't find the old one.
So staplers, tape dispensers, all kind of stuff. But, okay, so stay on the line. We're going to go and pay a couple of bills, and then we'll be right back with Debbie Lillard.
Hey, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers for RAD. I'm here to remind you that drunk drivers are still a major killer of young adults in this country. So always choose a designated driver, and remember, music lives, you should too.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi, Papa was a copper and the mama was a hippie.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. My webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi, everyone. This is Chuck Harold with my co-host,
Tally-ho, Bristow,
from Security Guy Radio. Regard is a verb, not a noun. Every Monday night at 7 p.m., we challenge the conventional wisdom of the security industry with our plain talk experience, humorous stories, and answers from the top security experts in the field. Tune in each week for the latest security news, enlightening interviews, and a look at a featured security gadget or service.
Join us on the web at securityguyradio.com.
And listen every Monday night at 7 p.m. exclusively on adrenalineradio.com.
Do you love leather? Do you own a piece of fine leather furniture? Do you love the way it feels when you sit in it? Do you want to keep it that way? Because my name is Chris Lawler, and I own Leather Care Services. I'm in the business of restoring and maintaining leather furniture so that you love it as much in 10 years as you did the day that you bought it. Call me at area code 562-693-7676. Remember, Leather Care Services, saving cows one hide at a time.
While cutting molding with a 12-inch dual compound miter saw, while holding a newborn baby in your arms, when face-to-face with a congregation of alligators, with the ball in your hands and the entire freaking season on the line.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting, so why would you do it while driving? NASCAR driver Casey Kane here, asking you to please stop the text, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Get the message at stoptextstoprex.org.
We are back. This is Super Organizer Universe Radio. I am James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer, and I am on the phone with Debbie Lillard.
Yes, hi.
Hello, Miss Debbie. And we were talking about organization for moms, kids, things at home. And we're talking about the Absolutes of Organizing that she put together in her wonderful books. And the one I suggest everyone gets. And this is so funny, Debbie. Mine is an autographed copy, apparently. Yeah, apparently I got it. I got it online. So, and folks, I haven't met her in person yet, so this is kind of funny. So when I finally meet you in person, you have to sign over it or something, or sign next to it. So I have both.
I can't believe someone sold one of my autographed copies.
I know, it's crazy, but I love it. And it's the Mom's Guide to Home Organization: Simple Solutions to Control Clutter, Schedules, and Stress. And it's just such a great, comprehensive book. And if you're a mom or a single dad or anything, and you're at home and you're running the house, I say grab it. Grab it. So with your Absolutes of Organizing, you have the CPR thing. So then you go from 2 to 10. So one of the things, we won't go through each single one, but we'll go through a few because of time. I wanted to ask you about keeping it simple. Let's talk about the purging process, because that is something that most people have the hardest with, right? The purging.
Yes. Yeah.
And you say keep it simple with yes and no piles. Let's talk about that.
Right. Now, I originally wrote that with the intention of when you're doing something with your children, like if you're going through their artwork from school, if you're going through their clothes or their toys, because, again, you don't want to give them too many choices. But it really works well with adults, especially adults with ADD, because they're the ones that have the hardest trouble making decisions. I mean, it's all about making decisions, like I said. So with kids, and these absolutes come up every day in my business and in my personal life, so they really are true. They're kind of rules to live by if you want to stay organized. So, I'll sit with my son going through his clothes before school starts, and I'll say, don't do the whole, does it fit? Did I wear it? Colors, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's just yes and no. Yes, you love it. No, you don't.
Ooh, I like that.
And same with their artwork that comes home from school. Because I think if you keep it simple, number one, it goes fast.
Yes.
And, we can get it done. That's what I'm saying. We can go through their artwork in less than half an hour. And, okay, you said no to these. I'm pitching them. The yeses, we're tucking away in a portfolio, and we're done. And kids like that. And, I'll do that with clients, too, because, we do it with paperwork. We do it with their clothing, whatever we're sorting. Because I think what people tend to do is, okay, well, I need that because I got to give it to my friend Susie when I see her next Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
I don't use this, but I want to put it here, or I want to give it to this charity, and suddenly have 10 different sort piles sitting around you. And then you're like, oh, God, it's like another sort. So if you just keep it yes or no, and then, as the professional organizer, sometimes I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll take the no's. I'll dispose of them appropriately. And you just keep the yeses.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And I'm all about keeping it simple. I was just telling somebody the other day with my clients about files. I'm like, okay, name it exactly what you will look for it for. Don't worry about the fancy names and let's make it, home economic. Don't do all that. Is it things about, the radio, then you write radio on it. If things about the car, write car. Make it super simple. So I'm all about that. With your clients, what is your client base? I mean, who do you usually work with in your practice?
I will say it's mostly women who are professional and have children. A lot of them are, they have some flexibility in their schedule where they're not working every single day, like in a corporate job. Some of them are doctors, lawyers, accountants, things like that, where they have some flexibility where they can take a day off. Because I like to work myself Monday through Friday.
Okay.
So I think by virtue of when my hours are, and I like to work 9 to 4 when my kids are in school, so I can
smart.
go home for all the craziness that happens after school and dinner.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do work with several men, and again, some of them are like professors or they're lawyers, so they have that flexibility where they can take a day and say, I'm just going to get my office organized, or I just have to get my home office organized, or something like that. But most of them do have kids, because I think when they see that in my profile, they go, oh, okay, so she understands. She understands, we're trying to get our kids off to college, or kids that have multiple activities and juggling that.
Right.
So I think you tend to find people that are like you in your home-based business.
That's true. Now, one of the other things you talk about in Absolutes Organizing is organize from large to small. So can you expand on that?
Yeah. Now, I know some people, some organizers, and all those organizing articles you see out there say, oh, even if you just organize one drawer in your desk, that's an accomplishment. Well, I don't really agree with that. Because I think it's the old, and again, it's just style differences, but I think you have to look at the big picture first.
Okay.
So instead of just organizing a drawer in your desk, I say let's look at your office setup. Like, where do you pay bills, even if it's just an office setup in your home. And I always recommend that every mom has something like this.
Yes.
Just to keep your schedules, to keep your address files. Stamps, envelopes, things like that you're going to need to pay bills or to send things back to school. So I said, let's look at the whole setup. What do you need? and how can we arrange it, and then we can get into the nitty-gritty of what's in your junk drawer and what's in your pencil drawer. So I think you sort of have to see the big picture. Again, I was at a client last week, and she had a printer up in her bedroom, but there was a desk in the living room.
Oh, how weird.
And hasn't really established a file system yet.
Oh, my God, okay.
So I was like, okay, so where's, your home base?
Right.
She didn't really have one.
Oh, wow.
Everything was scattered. And she says, well, usually I just grab my laptop and I do it wherever.
Oh, okay.
So, but we're going to try and get her just one little, it doesn't have to take up a lot of space, even just one desk with a couple of drawers.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have a lot of paper now because they pay all their bills online.
Yes,
so,
right.
But everybody needs a little bit of file space.
Yes, and I agree with you. The whole thing of designating a place in your home to do that stuff. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Instead of
again, some people say well, let's organize this closet, and it might just be a junk closet that's somewhere in the house. And okay, we can do that, but let's look at the bigger, what's the function and if we're organizing photos in this closet, are there photos somewhere else in the house that we need to pull in here? Because, that's really the bigger picture is where are you storing your photos, not this little shelf in this little closet.
This shelf in the closet, look, I can put photos here. That's like a quick, that's a quick fix, right? That's like a quick thing. It's but then you have 10 other boxes of photos in the other room and downstairs.
Some are in the garage, some are in the basement.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm all about that because that's one of your also absolutes. Number 5 is to keep things together. And that's something I'm always pushing my clients. I'm like, let's just find everything that looks like this so we get a bigger picture of where we can actually put it.
Right. And that's why I do this, and I'm sure most organizers do. When I first go to a new client, I say, even if you just want to organize your kitchen, let's do a walk through the whole house.
Oh, I do the same thing.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, let them tell me, or let me see, where are you keeping extra stuff that has to do with, servingware or something like that, because that's how you get the big picture.
Yes.
And if you just get super focused in one little area, you're not going to solve the problem in the long run.
I had a client who hired me just for the kitchen, and then I was like, well, let me look at this, what we call them service porch, or I guess, or utility room, whatever. And I said, let me look at this over here. And then we went to the garage that was attached to that. And we did that whole side of the house, and then she hired me for the whole side of the house because I was like, it all kind of was connected.
Right.
It's like if I move this into this room and take this over here, then and group these two things together, it worked out, and I ended up doing half the house.
Yeah, yeah, and most people do need that. If they need a run through the whole house.
Yeah. So so I'm like you. I do the same thing. There are actually 2 questions that I ask every person who comes on my show.
Okay.
And so it's the same 2 questions. And so now it's your turn to do this. It's just called my Ask the Guest 2 questions. I'm big on words. I'm big on the power of words, positive or negative. I'm all about when you say things, it goes out to the universe. You can make them manifest stuff. So my first question is, what word should be eliminated from our vocabulary?
Ooh. What word should be eliminated from our vocabulary? I'm thinking of my father always said, can't means won't. So I would say can't.
I like that. That's so true, too. When you say can't, then you go, okay, never mind. I'm not doing it. I like that. I like that. No, I like that. And the second question is, what word should be added to our vocabulary?
I have to come up with a brand new word.
Well, no, you're the first person to say that. It's so funny. I mean, a word that exists out there. So I like your answer. That's a great answer right there. No, I like that. Let's make a word. If you came up with a new word, I'd be like, hey, it's called Webster's. Let's get it in there.
Yeah, on the spot. Boy, that would be. I wish I knew the questions ahead of time.
Yeah,
but what a word maybe that we don't use very often that we should put it.
They probably should put it back in, and it could be in your practice or just people, or just in general. I made up a word once called unifocal. Here on the show, we laughed so hard because I'm thinking it's monofocal probably, but I wear progressive lenses, and so I was just kind of like, I wish I could just be a unifocal person, and I was like, we made jokes about that.
Oh, you know what? I get that because then I have one that's sort of along those lines. I call it monotasking.
Yes.
Because everybody talks about multitasking.
Yes.
And trying to do so many things at once and faster, and I think if you monotask, just do one thing at a time, you can be more organized.
Yes. I like the so okay, that's good. Okay. Let's go back to now what every mom needs. You did a checklist.
Yes.
And can we kind of talk about that a little bit? What,
sure.
At least name a few things we think moms should have at home to help them get organized.
Well, and again, like my book is divided into time management, stuff management, and then spaces. So these things sort of follow along. For time management, a daily planner and a family calendar. Family calendar can be electronic or physical. I still prefer the physical that I can see, that I can touch.
Me too.
Hanging in the kitchen, right on the refrigerator, because everybody walks by that every day. And I think it's important for every member of the family to know what other people are doing. So even though my teenage son, is not working in the summer and may not really care what mom's doing, it does affect his life if I'm working from 9 to 4 and he wants to go to a friend's house at 1 o'clock, know. Love the family calendar. If you can color code it, great. It's just a good way to visualize your schedule. The other little thing...
Because you mentioned
thing that I love.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry?
No, I was saying you mentioned, because I like the family planner, the family calendar daily planner thing. You also mentioned a stair basket.
Yes. I've had a stair basket since 1992.
Oh my God.
When I first got married.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay. And what goes in there? How do you use that?
I just think I couldn't live without it. So the reason was we live in a very tall old house, so we have a lot of steps. And when I was having children, I thought I can't go up and down the steps all the time. So I got a step basket. It's cut to form the shape of a step.
Oh, okay.
And, Ballard Design sells them. You can even get them at some craft fairs, places where they make baskets. And it's just a good way of putting. If you come across things like, oh, this belongs in the bedroom or this needs to go upstairs, just throw it in the basket. The big caveat is because people have baskets and they get filled and overflowed, and then they go, oh, the basket doesn't work. You need to get in the habit of taking that basket up every night and getting things to the right room.
Yes. Oh, I love
and you could do the same thing in the morning, like because we had a 2-story colonial style house, we would straighten up the bedrooms in the morning, and anything we found that had migrated upstairs that needed to go downstairs, or cups or things like that need to go to the kitchen, they went in the basket and got carried downstairs in the morning.
Wow.
So it's a good tool that helps you form a habit.
I like that. Actually, I think also a basket, even on a stair, if you have a long house, maybe have it in the front part of the house and to take things in the back part, maybe. It could be, you can modify it maybe a little
whatever
bit.
You can find. I just thought the step baskets were clever. And,
I like that.
So it's just a good little habit. And then also I did this, like if I had friends coming over or people were coming over unexpectedly, I was like, I could do a quick tidy up in the main level of the house and throw whatever doesn't belong here in the stair basket, and I can worry about it later.
Wow. I see, folks out there, my listeners, I learn stuff, and I'm going to use it. I think I'll give you all the credit in the world, of course, but I think that's such a great idea. I think it's a great idea. Oh,
thanks.
God.
Yeah, we now have a split-level house, so I had to get a second stair basket to go up to the third floor. So now my daughter lives up on the third floor, so I end up any of her mail that comes in, it's like her mail basket.
Oh,
so.
There you go. I'm in love with that idea today. That's gonna be I'm gonna work on that even for myself. I like that. I have a long house, so I'm gonna kind of use that put a little basket in front, and they can come to me in the back. I like that.
Yeah.
So now, unfortunately, we're out of time, so I'm going to have you back. I have to have you back on.
Yeah, I would love that.
I have so much more to ask you and talk to you about. And, I only have an hour show, but I need you to come on again.
Yeah, sure.
Crazy.
We could do it for back to school time or
yes,
during
definitely.
the holidays.
Yes, definitely. And I will, of course, contact you for that. Because I think back to school is a good idea to have you come back for that, which is in the next, month or so, or less than a month? It's coming up.
I know.
Isn't
I
it?
don't like to think about it until mid-August because I'm still in summer mode.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Sorry. Yes.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
I'm not planning for it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I could talk about it, but I'm not going to plan for it.
I love it. So, Ms. Debbie, where can the folks find you online?
My website is space2spare.com.
You can find her, folks. Find her. And also on my Facebook page and stuff, I have her featured on there, and I'll have her featured again on there, so you can find her also. Because we like to support my friends in the business.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes, I appreciate that, and congratulations on your radio show. I wish you all the success that you deserve.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Debbie. We will talk soon, okay?
Okay, James. Take care.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
And everyone, this is Super Organizer Universe Radio. I'll be right back.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Los Pollos, home of flavored down-to-the-bone chicken. As we say in Spanish, el sabor hasta el último huesito. At Los Pollos, we serve delicious Cuban/Mexican marinated chicken. We are cooking our chickens in rotisserie ovens to give you a well-seasoned, well-marinated, well-cooked, delicious chicken. We have 3 locations to serve you. In the city of Bell, we are located in 6201 Atlantic Avenue on the corner of Randolph and Atlantic. In the city of East LA, we are located on 5161 Pomona Boulevard on the corner of Atlantic and Pomona Boulevard. And in the city of Downey, we are located on 7940 East Florence Avenue on the corner of Paramount and Florence. Come to Los Pollos and experience the most delicious chicken that you'll ever have the pleasure of eating.
With containers, there are a couple of things to be aware of. Containers can be heavy and get really hot. A solution I found is the Big Bag Bed from Smart Pots. They're lightweight. No, really, anyone from 3 to 93 can pick one up because they're made from an aeration fabric wholesale nurseries have been using for years. And they breathe, which is an important factor in developing stronger roots. Traditional containers don't do that. Grow this year's garden in a Big Bag Bed by Smart Pots, found at your local nursery, garden center, and online at smartpots.com.
Ooh, it's our song, Brian. We're back. Super Organizer Universe Radio.
I'm not a good dancer like you.
I know. I'm gun boogieing in. You guys can't see me, unfortunately, but I was getting down. It's our bumper music.
You gotta write a theme song to this.
You know, I totally want to. You say this like every week. I totally want to write one. I'm ready. Let's do it. So you're back to Organizer Universe Radio. I'm James Lott Jr. I want to thank Debbie Lillard for coming on. She's such a great guest and wealth of information, and I definitely will have her back. She is just wonderful. And so today, talking about kids, chores, time management, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit for our last few minutes of the show. On my Facebook page, Super Organizer, and also on my blog, thesuperorganizeruniverse.com, I feature a chart that I found, and you can look at it and really look at it, and you can even print it out and use it if you want to, on age-appropriate chores for kids. We, again, believe in starting early, and they have 6 sections: 2 to 3-year-old, 4 to 5-year-old, 6 to 7-year-old, 8 to 10-year-old, 11 to 14-year-old, and then, of course, 15 to 18-year-old. And they really talk about, they list certain chores that you can teach kids to do at each of those ages. Like one of the things, just briefly, one of the things for like 4 to 5-year-olds, you can teach them how to brush their teeth, make their bed, load a dishwasher, empty small trash cans. Because, they're small, so you can't really do big ones. So you like small trash cans, things like that. 8 to 10-year-olds, they suggest you can teach them how to clean toilets, help with yard work. That's a good time to help them help care with pets. And, give them some responsibility with the pets, of course. They're obviously living beings. Watering plants. For 11 to 14-year-olds, they do a few things with like making meals and mopping and cleaning bathrooms. So go to my sites and you can see the chart. It's a really good chart, and I think you should look at it if you have kids. Once again, I'm always so happy to be here. I'm always happy to be here every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on AdrenalineRadio.com to bring you all things organizing and some things life coaching, but mostly organizing. It makes me so happy, and I hope you guys gain something out of what we share with you every week. And I'll be back next week, of course, with another edition of the Super Organizer Universe. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at @TheSuperO, my blog, SuperOrganizerUniverse.com, my Facebook page, The Super Organizer, or I have another one too called James Lott Jr., and then, of course, the granddaddy of them all, my website, thesuperorganizer.com if you want to look for what I do. Contact me, hire me. I am an organizer for hire. I'm a speaker for hire. I am a host for hire. I'm here for you. I'm here for us to make the world a better, organized place. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will talk to you guys next time.